We are live. Welcome to another installment of the Final Scoop podcast. Thank you all for joining us. My name is Robert Schinetsky, the supplement engineer. Joining as always is my international cavalcade of industry insiders and game changers in Robert Samborsky, Apollon Nutrition, Lukasz, Troublemaker Rytkowski, Prometeus Intelligent Sports Technology, Shane, the low-carb Avenger Smith, Stack.com. For all of you tuning in on the live stream, thank you for joining us as always on these live podcasts. Any comments, questions, queries, quips, smart aleck remarks you have for us, please post those in the comments section. We will get to anything and everything during our 90, 120-minute time that we're on here chatting and shooting the breeze and whatever else comes across our way. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video with family, friends, and loved ones. And if you listen to us on iTunes or any other podcast listening platform, please give us a 5-star review. That helps us climb up in the rankings and dominate the almighty algorithm that it kind of mandates and dictates everything that we're exposed to these days. So, my friends, thank you for joining me. Shane, you're looking particularly spry in there. Did you add in some new things to the room back there? Like, I know it seems like we're always kind of in a different scenario and setting.
It's pretty fucking blank. What do you mean I've added new things to the room?
Well, like I don't think I saw that desk there last week. That's off to your left-hand side.
What the fuck are you talking about? No, that's because I was a square. This has been here since like I don't know, like 2 months. In fact,
okay. Well, maybe it was the angle of the camera, the way it was positioned, or something. I don't know.
This is one of my handiest pieces of work. We bought the drawers separate, and then we bought the tabletops separate. And I said to my wife, I said, you know what? I'm gonna put the tables on top of the drawers. And she's like, what about the legs? He's like, I'm gonna screw it to the fucking wall. And she's like, really? And I was like, originally I was like, let's just do a couple of legs. And she's like, you could screw it to the wall. And I was like, I don't know, man. So fucking bolted the bitch to the wall. It's just like a floating desk. And I'm not a handy person. In fact, I'm far from it. So that little drawers, that little slash of drawers you can see, I'm very proud of this. Very proud. It looks very nice.
It's from IKEA or what?
Actually, it is. So we bought the drawers separate as like separate drawers, and then they sell tabletops, and then we basically mimicked the screws on the top of the drawers to the table. But yeah, no, I haven't added anything. I have thought about it something, but for now, everyone can just stare at a blank wall.
Do you, Shane? So you are a gamer, correct?
Yes. I haven't played for a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah. Do you stream any of the stuff on Twitch or any of the other like streaming platforms? And then do you have a specific camera that you recommend and use? Because I'm assuming you're not using like your laptop camera. So I'm broadcasting this off my laptop camera, but yours comes in always in like super crisp.
Laptop camera's a dick. That's just, yeah, that's the horrible. No, I mean, I've thought about it, but I'm not consistent enough.
Mm-hmm.
I also, yeah, I'm not bad, but I would feel like I played with some of these kids, man. And I remember back in the day, I used to be like, that's kind of where you got all the swear words from when you played live, and you'd like throw shit out and fuck you up. Like kids would just be going back and forth, but if like your parents heard you, they'd be like, shut the hell up. I've been playing. I played lately. My God, these kids are insane now. I was having a game. I was playing Fortnite with a bunch of what seemed like children.
Mm-hmm.
We smoked them, and then we get to the end, and there must have been like a little area where like you can all kind of hear each other. And this kid's just like, I'm gonna cut everyone's throat, blah 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 blah. He's like, you guys are all just a bunch of fucking whores. You're probably not even dudes. We're all a bunch of girls. And I'm like, holy shit, dude. And he's like, fuck this game. I was like, dude, this actually, sorry, that was the game where we got smoked, and he was on my team. And I was like, dude, it's not that big of a deal. Calm down. I was like, you're taking this far too seriously. And he was just...
it's super serious.
But I mean, you don't take it like... There are some games where I smoke, and there are some games where I get like beaten. Sometimes you get like 12 on 8 or whatever.
Yeah.
But this game, we got our asses beat. And if you're like me, and you get your ass beat like that bad, look, dude, you can't be taking it seriously because you're just not that good. Okay? It's plain and simple. This dude was so upset. And I was just listening to him. They couldn't hear him. Only our team could hear him. But I was like, dude, go have a pie or something. Relax. But the insults he was throwing out, like calling them whores, and then just being like, "You're probably not even." And every word, every sentence had like the F word in it, and he sounded like he was 12, maybe 16. You can get either way. He wasn't an old dude. I was like, God damn it, these kids. I thought we were bad back in the day, but shit, these little kids, man. God damn.
Oh my
But
goodness.
I
Well,
thought
the original reason I was asking,
but yeah.
what camera are you using? Because I'm wondering if I need to upgrade my camera for this.
I always based it off price and brand. Like if you spend, I don't know, it's kind of like Beats, right? You spend $400 or whatever the hell on a pair of Beats headphones. Sounds like going to be bad, but it's not one of those brands that's like super, like Bose or Sonos or anything like that. So I mean, I spent maybe 200 on a Logitech camera. I don't know the version, but generally when you buy a dedicated webcam, it's gonna be pretty damn good. Like
Okay.
$100 would be better than a laptop, and then you get 200, 300. You can go up pretty high, especially now with like since at home work was like the shit. But I think I spent $200 on this one, and I don't know the name, but it's from Logitech. They make a pretty good selection.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when like computer cameras first came out, we had this little orb thing that sat on this little tripod, and it
Oh,
was a Logitech camera. I mean, it was like super old. We're talking like
and
late
it
'90s, early
collapsed.
2000s here.
It would like collapse down. I remember it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was this little thing, and you could pull it off and look around. And I mean, this was when like video conferencing first started coming around. Like 20 years ago or something. God, that makes me feel old. And I'm not. But anyway, Lukasz, we were talking about this. We didn't get the official recipe for what you were drinking. Uh, what do you've got a mug there, which it looks like a
Yes.
proper ale drinking thing. Like it should be holding a mug of some kind of frosty ale from a Bavarian tavern or something. So what's in there?
So it's a combination of mushrooms. So I've got reishi, I've got lion's mane, I've got cordyceps, and I got also chaga, 5 grams of each. I've got also core shred, 1 scoop, and I've got 1 scoop of chemical warfare PM. That's it.
Okay, for the listeners out there, okay, so he's got 20 grams of mushrooms in there, which all of that
God
tastes
damn.
like dirt. But I like raw mushrooms. Like I just after I finished my training session earlier, I just did some reishi and lion's mane just that's I take it sometime during the day, and that's 1 gram of each. Core
Course
shred
shred
is
is also not the nicest tasting thing in the world.
and it's a stimulant, and where Lucas is, it is
No. Course shred.
820 a
Core
day.
shred is without caffeine.
Oh, I thought
Cool.
I thought it had caffeine in it.
Course shred's the sweet. No, course shred isn't taste. Course shred is not the tastiest one either.
I like it.
Well, if you're drinking a mug of mushrooms, of course you put a dabble of shit in there, and it'll be like, oh, it's not bad.
What did you mix it with?
Water.
Oh my god.
Why are you acting like surprised? Should have done.
Oh.
You should, just put some milk in there, but away. You got yourself some casein, ultimate.
That's the thing. I never understood people that were saying like, pre-workout is bad. I can sip the toughest flavors and move on.
It sounds like it tastes like shit.
I should send you that vanilla chai
Assassin.
greens we tasted, man. That was
Okay.
gross. Oh, I got it.
Which one?
The vanilla chai greens that Sandy and I
Oh
just had the other
yeah.
day.
I saw your review. I was laughing my ass off.
That was
From-
so gross.
What brand?
Pharma Freak?
Pharma Freak.
I haven't had that one.
I mean, if you like chai, you will love this flavor because it is right on the money. And so we tried their apple juice flavor, or their sweet apple flavor of the greens, and that has a distinctive greens taste to it. Like it feels like mulched up grass clippings with a little bit of apple flavor. So I would rather drink that than the vanilla chai. The vanilla chai completely covers up the greens taste, but I hate the flavor of chai with a passion. Like there's not a more vile flavor on this planet, save for maybe 1 or 2 things, than chai. I cannot stand it. I wanted to throw up after I drank it. I went and got Lucas's bottle of vodka that he sent me, and I drank that to wash the
Yeah.
taste of the vanilla
I saw
chai out of my mouth.
See, that was
Good chaser.
That was me with like Ghost Greens. I had the original lime. I had guava eventually, but I had the lime, and like it was really good. It covered the master great, but I don't like lime itself. Like I absolutely hate.
Oh,
Oh, there you go.
Oof.
See?
Paul, I'm questioning your integrity as a human being.
God
Questioning
damn.
your integrity right now.
Yeah, but see, Lucas is mixed shred, a dickload of mushrooms and I don't know something else, and he's just happily drinking it without throwing up. I, on the other hand, might throw up. Like you said, maybe it's like a flavorful vanilla chai. This stuff doesn't sound like me, but yeah.
No, I've never seen it or anything. Yeah. See, I love super bitter things, and so bitter flavors. Like I routinely eat like 85 or 95% dark chocolate, which is some of the most bitter stuff, or black coffee, all of that stuff. Vanilla chai, man, I wanted to just like spit it back out on the screen. It was freaking vile. Well, if you like chai, again, I'm gonna say the flavoring wasn't bad. If you love chai, you're gonna very much enjoy that flavor. I detest it with a passion. Like few things in life, gross. Gross. So Sandy, compose
just
yourself.
like vegetables in general.
Yeah, exactly. Like you and vegetables, me and chai. So it's just
Now, don't say me and vegetables. I had this discussion with my wife the other day. My daughter, like, she had a donut and it had orange, yellow, blue sprinkles on it. And so I was like, and I would take her sprinkles and she'd say no. So I cut up some carrots, like same size, put it on the donut. And then I'd like pretend I'm taking it and she'd say no. And then she'd go to eat it and she'd look at it and be like, yuck. She'd throw it away. And I'd be like, and then my wife was like, see, she gets this from you. I says, I don't say yuck to vegetables in front of people. Maybe on here, but I don't remember my daughter tuning in on the podcast. And I was like, she didn't get it from me. It's just because vegetables in general, it's very well known, at least not very uncommon, that they're fucking disgusting, right?
Genetics.
Not genetics. Everyone generally knows that vegetables. If you said, "Oh my god, I hate the taste of chocolate," you'd be like, "What's wrong with you?" You'd be like, "I don't like vegetables." Yeah, that's common. Everyone knows that because they taste like shit, right? So when my daughter spat it out, I was like, "Don't go blaming me." It's not too surprising that carrots are disgusting to her. I think they're disgusting too. Nothing to do with me. It's not genetics. I can't pass on my hatred for carrots, but yeah. Oh look,
there you go, a winner of the stack.
Oh yeah, we did do that.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, congrats, Paul.
Along
the vegetables grows, like I've looked into it a little bit, but like so we have a palate that senses like the 5 different flavors, but your bitter taste buds don't start developing until later in life. So I think that's why. At least that's one of the components why like little kids and even teenagers hate vegetables. It's like your bitter receptors or whatever haven't fully developed, and you learn to appreciate that as you get older in life.
The textures as well. Like there aren't many foods out there that have that variety of textures and that like dog shit variety of flavors than vegetables. I mean seriously, you have to bite into them.
Season the vegetable, exactly. Lots of salt, pepper, and other good stuff. I'll send you some of my Cajun seasoning I whip up here at the kitchen.
No.
Then you fucked up the meat. That's the thing.
My wife says this to me. She's like, "Oh, just put some seasoning on it, maybe like some cheese." And I was like, "Too much effort. Can't be bothered." And you can still taste it. It's still eh.
One of these days, we're gonna make Shane say vegetables are great again. One of these days. All right, keep the comments and questions rolling, guys. We're gonna. Robbie's been a little too quiet. I think he's maybe said 2 words, and we've been on almost 15 minutes. So we got to make sure he stays awake. And since he's the resident movie buff on the podcast, have you seen the Snyder cut of Justice League?
No, not yet. I keep hearing about it a lot, but yeah, this week's been kind of rough. But yeah, I'll hopefully watch it in the next few days. I mean, from what I hear, most people liked it a lot. But I hear it's like 4 hours long or something.
Yeah. So I watched it 4 hours, but I had to split it for 2 hours. I basically did 2 hours before the gym and 2 hours after the gym.
Yeah, and from what I read, it's like segments. It's like almost like a mini series.
Yeah.
45 minutes each.
Yeah, that's convenient. That's why I did like few segments, and when one segment ended, I decided, okay, I will finish this one, go to the gym, train, and after the gym, I finished the entire thing. But it's
You see, like for me, it's
okay.
I was never like a huge comics fan, so it's for me it's a hit and miss typically. I'm very very picky on them. Like whenever it's like too much of a CGI and special effects and all that, and
Hmm.
sometimes they emphasize the special effects over the story. It
Yeah,
kind of bothers me, but there are some great ones that I absolutely loved because I think like the acting was great and the movies were great. I absolutely loved Batman and I loved Iron Man. So I'm very selective. I don't like everything. I know some people are obsessed with superhero movies. I'm not. Like I'm very very selective with them.
yeah. You know
I
what?
watched it. I
It
watched it
was
damn
like,
straight too.
oh
We didn't break it up here. We sat down for 4 hours.
fuck, man.
Did you see the original Justice League, Shane? Because I'm not a big DC fan. I like the old Batman movies with Michael Keaton. The ones with
I mean,
Christian Bale were good. I've seen Wonder Woman, the original one, or like the newer one, but I didn't see Wonder Woman 1984, and I heard it was a steaming pile of dog shit. Same thing with the original Justice League and Aquaman. So, what are your thoughts?
the
The
Justice
re-
League was. I don't.
yeah, it
I mean,
was not good.
it was. It seemed broken. Like how they said two directors. Like one guy filmed it, and the other guy. You kind of got that from the finished product. It was just patchy. It didn't seem like it connected the whole way. And then, like, I mean, I still watched it, but I wouldn't argue with the critics saying it was shit. This one seemed like that's how long it needed to be with that original story, but then they
Yeah,
tried to cut it down to like 2 hours. This one seems like they told the story that you could kind of get a glimpse of in that first, with a little few extra little details here and there, but it kind of felt like that story was what originally wanted to be told. Obviously, it was, and they just told it in a full 4 hour movie. And so you got to get everything in. You got to get in more of the characters, which were like a little detached in that first one. But I would say it's worth a watch. I still prefer Avengers Infinity War though. Just I mean, as far as it was still it was a comprehensive movie, but the Snyder cut just it wasn't as like jam action packed like full on like as
it
much
was
as Avengers
more
movies
more
are.
more story than
It was
than
a
action.
it was a
You
lot
see,
of
like
story.
with the Avengers, I liked it. I liked it a lot, but I didn't love it. And the reason is because there are so many characters jam packed in the movie. Like such an amazing, I mean, pretty much every superhero is in it, and I feel like there is not time to actually showcase not only the stories and the personalities. It's just not enough time even for certain actors kind of to showcase their true identity and how they are. So for me, that was a bit of a problem. But then again, like even if you take Lord of the Rings, right? So the first one I liked. I didn't love it. I liked it a lot. The second one I absolutely loved. I thought the second one was just a
Hmm.
masterpiece. It
Yeah.
was so good. I couldn't get enough. When it was finished, I was like almost upset because I wanted to keep watching it. And then the third one, I was like, please, can we just end this? I felt like the ending just was dragging
I
for
love the
about
third one.
the third
Yeah,
one. I remember like about 45 minutes. The last 45 minutes I actually got up to leave the theater because I thought it was over, but they just kept going and going and going. They
yeah,
wouldn't end the
Yeah.
movie. So that was the only issue I had. But it's like I think that it's the consistency with these movies. And Robert, like the Wonder Woman, the first one that they did, I actually
Mhm.
liked a lot. The
Yeah.
yeah. Me
19
too.
the 1984, I didn't even watch it yet because even to watch the trailer, it was already like I could predict that it was bad.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as like I watched Coming to America, the second one, the sequel,
Mhm.
just based off the trailer because sometimes they give you too much. They give away way too much in the trailer. The second one, just from a trailer, I was like, I'll watch it, I'll give it a chance, but it looks absolutely horrible. So it was. Unfortunately, the trailer was better than the movie itself. You, but I think that you can't really blame the filmmakers, because it's very hard to keep up with the story. And I think that one movie that has a lot of sequels that kind of I loved it no matter what was Rocky. But I think the key is because of the character, Rocky himself. I think if you just film Sylvester Stallone walking down the street as a Rocky character, I still think it would be amazing. Because you watched it just because he's not Sylvester Stallone, he's Rocky. I mean, that's how good he is. And speaking of that, like I'm sure you've seen Creed 1 and Creed 2. The second one, the parts with Sylvester Stallone and Dolph Lundgren were so amazing that even seeing the two of them like having a conversation in Rocky's restaurant, like I couldn't get enough of that. And then the other two lead actors, I was like, it's not the same. So you have two old men who are just so superior as characters that no matter what they do, they don't even have to fight. They can be just cordial and polite to each other, and you still rather watch them for 10 minutes than the other two for the rest of the movie. And from what I understand, Stallone is not going to be in the next Creed. And that automatically, and it's just not me, a lot of people already have very little interest in watching it.
I didn't like the first. I mean, I didn't like either of the Creeds. Like, so why couldn't Apollo have a real son? They had to make it an illegitimate son. Then they changed out who Apollo's actual wife was and all this other stuff. I didn't like any of it. It seemed like a cheap like cash grab. Like,
it was just an excuse to have them.
Yeah, and that's all it was. Because instead of the kids running along Rocky, when Rocky was running down the streets, we're going to have people playing, like blasting a rap song while your boy's running down the street, and it's got motorbikes going down the sides of it and starts going in a circle. Then they go down to Mexico and Creed 2 for the training montage, which just
horrible, absolutely horrible,
awful. It was just both of those movies. I'm not a fan of that guy as an actor.
No, but you know what? The thing is that number one, when the first Creed came out, I remember I enjoy reading critics just for the hell of it, and I remember one critic said that Creed is as good as the first Rocky. I'm like, are you serious? Like, you can't even put them in the same, context because they're just like completely different. It makes absolutely no sense. And then the second one, I mean, basically the second one was sort of a ripoff of Rocky 4. And, some people said, well, it's unfair to compare. No, it is fair to compare. And you will compare because you just try to cash on something that's, that is such classic movie. And it's inevitable that you're going to be comparing the two. And that's my point, and I remember we talked about it with Mark Glazer when he said, we evolved, new technology and all that. It doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean shit because if you take I think Rocky 4 came in 1986, maybe 84, 86.
85, the greatest year ever because that's when me and Lukasz were born, 85.
85. So you have 85 and then Creed came in 2018 or something, the second one. I mean, you have 30 plus years and there is just no way that the newer one with a new technology, with new everything, and like you said, the training montage was so bad that it was just almost unbearable to watch because, again, you're comparing it to one of the greatest movies ever. And it just goes to show that sometimes, and also you brought up Michael Keaton in Batman, right? So you have Michael Keaton, and then you had the with Christian Bale, right? And then you have a lot in between. So the one with Christian Bale I actually really liked.
Yeah,
I thought it was very good. But everything in between, Michael Keaton and Christian Bale, was
The Clooney one was hot garbage. Val Kilmer was serviceable. I haven't seen any of the Ben Affleck, but I think Ben Affleck's a terrible actor. I've seen him in one or two things that I thought, like he was in The Town. That was decent.
That was decent. And you know what?
Argo. He was good in Argo too, but everything else, I don't know.
I also liked him in Accountant. I like that.
I haven't seen The Accountant yet. The girl on the train, was he in that, or was that somebody else?
I think it was somebody else.
Okay. I think you're thinking of that one where it was him and that I can't remember the name of the movie, and his wife disappears or something.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. That was a pretty good one, but I mean, like,
that was a really good one.
Most of the other stuff I've seen him in, I'm not a big huge Ben Affleck fan.
See, I'm going to the movies today to watch King Kong vs. Godzilla.
I want to
no.
watch that. I want
I
to
could
watch.
get behind that. Like I love
As
the
far as-
original Godzilla movies from the 50s.
Look,
Those were
man,
great.
I'm not going to this because I want to see quality acting. I'm not going
Oh,
to
no.
this because I want to see a story. I want to see a fucking giant Godzilla take on King Kong and answer the question. And there's the robot Godzilla's in this one, and apparently it's a mech Godzilla.
The Mecha Godzilla.
So I mean, this just got even way better.
Wait, have the creators addressed the fact that if you go back and base this on like the
King Kong's
original,
like bigger. No,
well,
because
no,
they
like
said
King
this,
Kong is like this tall. Godzilla's as
mentioned-
tall as a goddamn building. Where
They mentioned this because this was meant to be on. I thought this was meant to be a follow-on from like Kong Skull Island or something like that, or like one of the more recent King Kong movies. I remember reading somewhere. I don't read it because it was a spoiler, but the headline was they explain how in this one King Kong is the size of Godzilla.
He gets
'cause
mutated or
in
something.
Godzilla, he's like meant to be the size of the Empire State Building or some shit.
yeah, exactly.
So,
I was wondering, how do they with that size disparity?
I'm sure they'll answer it because King Kong's not meant to be. I mean, they transport him in a truck in all the movies.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
Wait, which Godzilla? I mean, there's like 8. Are you watching the original like 1950s Godzilla?
I
If
think
so,
I
I
think
give you a
it's the
thumbs
most-
up. Anything after that, forget it.
It's the most recent one, isn't it? Godzilla, King of the
I don't
something.
know. I haven't seen any of the new ones. I'm old school,
Quite some time.
ancient
So
school.
No, it's
you probably,
not.
Robert, you probably liked King Kong with Jessica Lange, right?
Yeah, the original 19. She was 58. Was that one?
Was it that long ago?
Or was she? Was that 70s with her? Was
No,
that
I
70s?
think she was in the 70s. Yeah,
Let me see. King Kong.
maybe even early 80s.
76.
76.
Yeah.
That was an absolutely amazing movie. I still don't think they topped that one.
I'd rather watch Animal Planet than go to this fucking movie like that.
This is pretty much the same thing. This is pretty much, in fact,
Yeah,
I would,
But you've got the live action,
I would-
man. You've got
I would,
some
I would
shit.
argue that Godzilla in this is going to look fucking way more real than some of the shit you see on Animal Planet.
Lucas is savage. He wants to see real animals tearing the shit out of each other.
Hell yeah,
you are,
man.
you are not going to see anything on Animal
Crocodiles.
Planet where these dudes pick up cars and buses and boats and start smacking the shit out of each other. And Godzilla shoots a laser out of his face. What animal does that? None. Zero.
None that we know of yet. Yet. We don't know. Maybe there's something lurking at the bottom of the sea.
Well, let's put it this way. Is he the size of a building? No, because I think we would have found it.
Maybe you got something hiding in your new house. Who knows?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, see? Oh, wait, what? Oh, shit.
Mecha King Ghidorah is in it too. Man, this is gonna be a melee of epic proportions.
See, this is the thing. Like, I always find superhero movies, my rule of 2 villains is where it kind of stops, right? That's why I thought Wonder Woman 1984 was a bit shit. You had 2 villains. You had the dude, and then you had the cheetah girl. And then in Spider-Man 3, most notably a shit one, had Venom, and then you had the Goblin, and then you had Sandman. You had 3 villains.
Yep.
When you get to too many villains, shit starts to get messy, and you lose the story on the villain.
What about
This movie
Batman
here-
Returns when you had Catwoman and the Penguin against Batman?
But see, that wasn't bad, but Catwoman was because Catwoman technically was in the Dark Knight Rises. With
Yeah, that one too. Yeah.
But she was barely a villain. Kind of like she was just kind of there. Like, I'm talking villains where like they're both in that last end credit. Sorry, that climax where they both all fight the hero.
Yeah.
That's where it gets a bit like. Batman Returns is a good example. I would say that's only one, but it's yeah. See, whereas Godzilla can't. I mean, you can put as many villains as you want in this thing. You don't need to tell me the backstory. He's a building-sized fucking dinosaur, and King Kong is a giant ape. I don't need to know where he came from and who his mom and dad was. I just need to see him fight. That's all.
Yeah. I like the Blue Oyster Cult reference. That's a good song from way back in the day, Brooke. Points for that.
This reminds me of the Power Rangers. Go Power Rangers!
Dude, that was my childhood. I love that show. All right, let's we'll deviate unless anybody has any other closing remarks before we send it back to Siskel and Ebert. Bone broth versus regular broth for health benefits. Thanks, guys. Or was it a waste of money? Follow up: heard collagen in it could help me heal from my operation. Anybody want to take the lead on this?
Nope.
I wouldn't say it's a waste of money because it's a cheap source of collagen, just like jelly. So if you, for example, go to the local store and buy the cups of jellies or a jelly powder, and you can do a jelly mix with, let's say, like 2 or 1 scoop of your aminos or something, you got a pretty good concoction. So I think it's a good investment, especially for your joint health. I know that in USA you can buy the liquid form, the bone broth, and honestly, I'm a fan of it, and I think that it's a potential in it. Especially, it's not that expensive. In US, you can buy it basically everywhere. Here in Europe, it's hard to get it, so you need to do it on your own by cooking up the bones, and it takes hours and hours to do it by yourself. So I think it's more convenient. But I know I'm a fan of it. Gaspari Nutrition came out with a product, a bone broth.
Yep.
And it's a combination of collagen and aminos, and really good product. So maybe check it out. But if you don't have money on for a supplement, I would definitely invest in bone broth.
Yeah, I would say the main difference in preparation of bone broth versus regular broth is that bone broth is actually you're simmering the bones down to like render out all the cartilage and all the other good connective tissue from the bones, where regular broth is most of the time it's usually just the liquid that's made from poaching meats in there. So the added benefit from bone broth is that you get the breakdown of all the collagen in there. You could easily, like Lukasz said, also go get a pack of like gelatin or sugar-free Jello and add that to your aminos or something else like that, or your pre-workout, and you'll get some of the benefits of collagen that way, since all collagen supplements are basically hydrolyzed gelatin. So that's what it is there. So is it a waste of money? Absolutely not. Could it help you accelerate the healing? Yeah, there's good logic behind that, since it's going to all of those supporting structures are made of collagen, which is the body's primary structural protein. So supplementing with collagen or UC2 collagen, which is going to help your body naturally produce more collagen, it's gonna help you. It's not gonna hurt you in any way. So is it going to be? Are we talking like order of magnitudes difference? Probably not, but there'll be some modest benefits to it.
I would definitely say it's gonna help your gut health. Also,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, if I remember, I know Park was like 40s or 50s. So yeah, your collagen production starts dipping off once you get past like 35 or so. So yeah, nothing but good stuff there. Fortnite is a digital babysitter.
I did find that I was playing with a lot of children
There you go.
on the game. But
Good save there,
yeah,
Shane. We didn't
just in case you needed to cut
You'll
the.
be getting a DMs afterwards, man. Dick pics.
How to avoid caffeine crash? Should you spread the usage? All right, this is a topic I don't know if we've ever actually. We're gonna let Lukasz lead the charge on this one. So how do you avoid the crash from caffeine if you ever get a crash from it?
I never had a crash on a caffeine, even if I smashed like 600 or 700 grams at once. So I don't know what's going on with my body, or I don't know if my body gets used to it through all these years of getting stims, and but to be honest, I never had any crash or any like a dip in energy. And to be honest, even if I take a half the dose of stims, post workout, I don't feel like burned out or anything like that. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but
I would say lower it. I mean, like that's pretty much what I would do. If I take something and I spin out or I crash, I haven't crashed on caffeine either. Not like as high as Hooligan or Assassin. I've never crashed, but it's I would lower it. I mean, I remember crashing on some of those DMAA stuff, but
yeah.
like all you would do is just lower it, and if you still crashed, stop doing it. Find something else, because the obviously if it crashed, it means you got a high, and you can only get so high. So try and lower it to, alleviate the crash and at least keep the high as good as you can. That's how I would do it. Yeah.
I think that before Robert answers in a very scientific way, and puts us all to shame, I'm gonna agree with Lucas and Shane. I never crash from caffeine, like caffeine alone. It doesn't matter how much I'm taking. I've never crashed. I noticed that in theory, at least. I know a lot of people, a lot of companies add obviously theanine, which by now everybody knows I don't like it in any pre-workouts, or I don't like the ingredient altogether unless it's a sleep formula. But I think like adding the caffeine malate, I've noticed that it definitely helps, because I feel like it kind of like slides you down kind of gradually. Maybe adding taurine helps too, to an extent. But from caffeine alone, even as high as 600 or 700 milligram, I've never crashed ever. But from DMA, I did crash, especially once I actually had a combination years ago of DMA and PEA. I crashed pretty badly. But once I added hordenine to the concussion, I had absolutely no problem. So, but then again, speaking from a personal experience, but from caffeine alone, I think that if somebody, again, that's theoretically speaking, I don't have any, scientific backing for it, but I think what Shane said is possibly true. If somebody on average takes, say, for example, a pre-workout or just a pill, 200 milligram of caffeine, and that's his sort of a average dose, and that the same person jumps to 600 or 800 milligram of caffeine, I think there is a potential for possibly crashing, because the person is not used to that much caffeine. But then again, that's just theoretically speaking. So possibly what Shane said, lowering it would be the smart way to do, or if increasing, then increasing maybe gradually. That would make sense to me. But from caffeine alone, I've never crashed, ever.
Yeah, no, y'all basically raised all the points that I was gonna say, and y'all both brought up a good thing. Usually, it's not caffeine that's causing the crash. Crystal, I'm not sure what supplement you might be using. If you can let us know in the comments what exact product you're using, or which products maybe that you're feeling this crash from. But typically, that crash that you hear, like a lot of the supplement companies say, that happens with pre-workouts. You hear other fitness gurus saying, "Don't you crash on these pre-workouts." It's because they put those amphetamine analogs in there, so the DMAAs, the DMHAs, the amp citrates, those things, because those rifle up your neurotransmitters, and then it depletes them because they're not putting in the substrates needed for it, like the B vitamins, folic acid, dopamine precursors, things like that, or maybe some adaptogens to kind of help stave off that crash. So, I mean, that's typically what it is. It's not the caffeine necessarily that's doing that. It's all of these amphetamine-like things that are getting you really hopped up, and then they've got a really quick clearance, and then they, vaporize your neurotransmitter stores really quickly. So some ways to stave that off, or maybe include a little bit more tyrosine, maybe some PEAs in there too. That could help with that. Hordenine, like Robbie mentioned, is a good thing. Off pure caffeine, though, I personally haven't experienced any crash, and I've only gotten one really bad crash from a pre-workout. Something about Velocity Nutrition or something like that. I don't even know if the company's still around anymore.
You're going back a while.
Yeah.
Neurosurge, isn't it?
Well, it was Neurosurge, and then the sequel to Neurosurge was
Yeah.
Velocity. I love Neurosurge. When Sandy always called that her happy juice. Neurosurge was phenomenal, but then Velocity came out, and that is one of the few pre-workouts that actually made me crash. I remember saying I took it on a Saturday one time, and 3 hours later, we were both just going like that. Like we didn't want to do anything the rest of the day.
But did you have a good workout?
Yes, absolutely we did.
Go.
Yeah, we absolutely did.
That's the bro solution. Work out faster before it hits. Before the crash happens, get your shit in.
We did. We got it in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But that after like the rest of the day, man, we felt like death. And so, I would say caffeine does have a half-life. It's got a 5 to 5.5 hour half-life. So you may not feel like that super powerful kick like you will within the first 30 to 60 minutes of caffeine. And it's going to taper off eventually, but you shouldn't feel this gigantic crash to where you feel like you are so zapped of energy you don't even want to get off the sofa just from regular caffeine usage. But here we go. Spreading the usage, or having a little bump later on in the day could do that. Stacking with some teacrine too. Coffee, I also think it's dehydration. Well, that is kind of a myth misnomer, misconception. Coffee does not cause dehydration. Caffeine doesn't cause dehydration.
Yeah.
That's something that's been, really massively overblown, and it doesn't really hold up. Because, I mean, think about it, you're drinking coffee. You're drinking probably 8 to 12 ounces of water when you're drinking your coffee as well. The caffeine if it does have a diuretic effect, it's in people that are caffeine naive, so they're not habitual caffeine consumers. But even that, the magnitude of effect of that dehydration is very, very small. It's not like you're taking a loop diuretic or something like a juniper berry or dandelion root or something like that, where it's going to make you just constantly pee.
Robert, actually being on a subject, I forgot. I meant to text you this. A couple of days ago, I saw an argument somewhere on social media where somebody said that caffeine has negative effects on citrulline and pump. I actually meant to text you. I forgot. I don't even know. I just noticed it. Like I stumbled on it.
Yeah. We've rehashed that. I don't know how many times. Sridhar, I remember TJ used to cycle caffeine. Does everyone do that? Robbie, do you cycle your caffeine? And do you, I guess, cycle caffeine, Sridhar, do you mean by just going completely off of it, or I guess modulating how much we're taking on a certain day?
For me personally, I actually don't pay attention to caffeine intake at all. So sometimes I'll be like a few days in a row, I'll be on. I drink coffee because I like coffee, but I don't measure it. I'm not going to say that I have like 5 to 10 cups a day, nothing like that. But I'll have generally 1 to 3 cups maybe a day. But it's not consistent, so to speak. So there can be a day where I can have just 1 cup of coffee. There might be a day where I don't have caffeine at all. But
what size coffee cups are we talking? We talking like the normal 8-ounce cup, or are you talking like the triple mocha venti cappuccino?
No,
the normal 38 ounces.
No, the 8-ounce, average. But then again, I'll have these whenever I feel like it. It can be 2 a day. It might be 1 a day. It might be none for a few days. So I'm not consistent, even with the pre-workouts. Like sometimes I'll have, earlier today I had arm workout. So I just did bare knuckle. I felt fine. I felt like just, having a bare knuckle, and that's it. I wanted that. And it wasn't that I was against stims. I just felt like having it, So I'm very, very sporadic and very, very I go with my intuition, and I don't plan these things. So that's the reason why I don't think that personally I need to cycle. Would it help? Would it? I honestly don't know, because my intake can be from 0 caffeine a day. It can be up to throughout the day, probably as high as 1,000 if you take into consideration, say, 1 scoop of hooligan if I do, and maybe 2-3 cups of coffee. It's not all at once, but I mean throughout the day. So it varies. But if I take hooligan today, it's not like going to be, oh my God, my body got used to it. I don't feel the effects like I used to. I feel the effect just as fine, but I'm not consistent with it. So I'm all over the place. And I think as a result, I really don't need to cycle it. At least my body doesn't tell me I need to.
Yeah. Lukasz? Oh, the Polish internet froze.
Lukasz, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Okay. How do you go about cycling your caffeine if you do? No. Well, is it the same level every day, or do you kind of undulate throughout the week?
Well, for example, today I wasn't training at all. I just did my cardio. I hit maybe gram or something. I don't know. I'm not super into tracking or anything like that. I'm just like Robic, if I want to, take some stims, I'll just take them, and I feel fine, but I don't to be super butthurt about any kind of stims, or I'm not tracking or do my list. Okay, I need to hit, let's say, gram per day or something. No, not like that, But yeah, today was a good day, around 1 gram, so
it was a good day.
Today was a good day. Yeah.
What you got, Captain Caffeine, Shane?
I mean, I usually take it just pre-workout. If I'm not training, then I might take an energy drink in the morning or the evening. And if I'm tired, I may have one. But I usually only cycle when I don't feel the effect is measurable. If I take my favorite pre-workout and I'm like, well, that wasn't that great, then I'm in trouble and I should probably lower my usage and then try and tone it down for a bit, and at least get back to where it starts feeling like I know it does.
Hmm.
It hasn't happened for a while. I mean, I don't do a gram a day. I would say if it's a pre-workout day, half a gram, 400 to 500, and then on non-workout days, maybe just a monster, which is what, like 160.
Hmm.
Um, and if it's a long day at the work, then you can slap on another 160. But yeah, nothing too serious. I haven't needed a cycle though for a while.
Yeah, I haven't. I've cycled off caffeine before, and I haven't noticed much of a difference. So like I probably like you guys, you handle caffeine really well. On the days that you don't have caffeine, you don't immediately get a headache right. You don't feel like
Mm.
super lethargic, grumpy, or anything like that. So I mean, I've had
I've
days.
heard that I've heard that happens, but I've never
Yeah,
Yeah, me
experienced
yeah.
it
I mean, if
myself.
it definitely is a real thing. I've been fortunate in the fact that I don't have that issue. But that being said, I do love the taste of coffee, and I will drink it even if it's not a training day. So I'm not taking a pre-workout or a nootropic or something. I'll drink a.
Coffee is gross.
See, there we go again.
Robert, I have a question for you. So, like for example, you know what Shane said, like he doesn't feel maybe the effects or not as much as effects, but could it be also could how you feel the either caffeine or pre-workout be affected not just by the fact that you've been using it for a long time consistently? Could it be affected by sleep or diet or food intake or out of stress? I mean, I just feel like when
Yeah.
people say like I don't feel the effects of pre-workout, I need to come off of it, but I don't think they take into consideration other things such as, again, stress, lack of sleep, too much sleep, lack of food and stuff like that. So it's maybe not even the pre-workout, maybe it's just shit happens.
Well, yeah, because think about so caffeine's main mechanism of action is that it's an adenosine receptor antagonist. So in the brain, adenosine is a neurotransmitter that when it binds to it, it causes feelings of lethargy, tiredness, and that's what as it goes during the day, like at night, it increases, and so it starts docking more, and that's why you start to feel tired. When you take caffeine, it blocks adenosine from binding. So if you're taking too much caffeine, you're going to continually get this buildup of adenosine in your system, and then when it docks on it, that's when its ability, if you get a bunch of sleep, that's its ability to kind of get flushed out of your system and everything kind of resets. To where if you're chronically sleep deprived, your body's never getting that ability to kind of, reset the slate. So that's why you may not feel if you do get a lot of sleep, you won't need to continually up the dose on caffeine. Whereas if you aren't getting enough sleep, you probably will because your body's not able to kind of reset itself and get its adenosine back in line the way it should.
So it's not basically your body adapting to caffeine, so to speak. It's just other factors that are in your life.
It's a little bit of both. It's not all one or the other. There's a
Okay.
little bit of both. So you can become a little bit habituated to caffeine, but as long as you're keeping it in moderate doses, probably sub 400 or 500 milligrams a day, that habituation is much less than if you're constantly pegging out at like 800, 900, 1,000, 1,200 milligrams of caffeine
Yes.
a day. But also you've got the genetic component. Are you a fast metabolizer? Are you a slow metabolizer? Those kind of things. What's your, weekly, how often are you exposing yourself to caffeine? How frequently during the day? Is it all at one shot? Or are you kind of, taking it every 3 to 4 hours kind of thing as well? All of these things kind of affect how your body's going to metabolize caffeine and you do it. So with that said, do I cycle caffeine? I have in the past. I don't really see any point in doing it now. Caffeine's been really well studied, and there's enough studies on longevity that people that have 4, 5, 6 cups of coffee a day, live a really long, happy life. And so, plus it's got some neuroprotective effects and, good brain health things, especially if you do the coffee route, which has a bunch of fun other little polyphenols, flavonoids, bioactives, antioxidants, and stuff like that too. So good for what?
Dementia, right?
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, I don't cycle it. I do cycle so if it's a non-training day, I'm obviously going to have less caffeine most likely because I'll either just maybe have 1 cup of coffee or like a low stim nootropic to get work done. Whereas if it's a pre-workout day, I might be taking something that's got anywhere between 250 to 400 milligrams of caffeine. I usually don't do any other coffee aside from that. Maybe in the afternoon, I might have like 1 cup of chicory coffee or something, but that's more rarity than it is a daily staple. So but undulating your caffeine doses by using different pre-workouts during the week will also help too to kind of avoid the caffeine thing. But going back to Shane's point, if you feel like your pre-workout's not hitting anymore like it should, or you getting that same kick in the pants, then you might want to at least dial back the dose instead of if you don't want to go cold turkey, then you can easily just dial back the dose, which is kind of what. And this is a good way to attack it. Was Paul saying cycle stims 1 week DMHA, then urea for a week, and then no exotics for a week. See, I don't know if I would. DMHA has such a rapid onset of tolerance. I wouldn't use it every day for the week. I would probably do it like 2 or 3 days a week, but on non-consecutive days. Same thing with urea durensis. And then, just have a caffeine only day or something. I don't know. That way you get the effects of it longer. And I noticed this a lot with DMAA pre-workouts, especially. Like you take it the first day, it feels phenomenal. The second day, and then the third day, it feels basically just like caffeine. You're getting no effect from the DMAA whatsoever. I don't know about y'all, if y'all experience the same thing.
Yeah,
DMHA was a bit like that. Not as bad, but it was a bit like that. That like you would take it day one, and then if you kept taking it for like a week, you'd be like, where the fuck's the magic gone? And it's yeah. I mean, it's citrate, however, the one in the middle. I don't really have too much problem with that one.
I didn't have much experience with that one, man. I tried it once or twice, and I never got it around to trying it extensively. I missed that stim.
From all these three, the citrate was probably my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
So that was so good. I still remember the Hemorrhage, the old one was from Nutrex. So good.
Brooke, I love how Robbie shakes his head in disappointment. Lukasz just says right on. Paul's following up. No joke for me. DMHA feels wonderful every day for a week, but that's my cutoff. I want it to feel great, so I limit myself. Okay. To each his own.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, training question. Home gym versus commercial gym. If you have all the essentials that you deem necessary for your training regimen, which do you prefer? Training at home or training in a gym?
Gym, always gym, always. I don't care how good your home gym is, it's great, but I think that environment, when you have other people training around you, that music, that feel, it just nothing beats that. I'm sorry, because I think that I had a decent setup in my house, and it doesn't feel the same. I'd rather drive to the gym. I need that environment, and even if I see people like doing, when I was not lifting weights for a couple of years and doing just calisthenics, but being inside the gym and just seeing even powerlifters around me slamming those heavy weights, and bodybuilders and women training, strength and conditioning, just being around that environment kind of like it motivates you, it pushes you, you feel good, like you feel among those that are actually pushing themselves to achieve something. And it definitely does something to me, especially. And I remember Ronnie Coleman, I think, when he was training at Metroflex, and Metroflex is just a dump with like broken equipment and and dusty and no AC and nothing like that. But if you watch the videos, like how Ronnie trained and Branch Warren and Johnny Jackson and those guys, you don't have to be like them, but being around people that train like that and being around that environment, it definitely motivates you. It pushes you to the next level. And I remember with Ronnie, I think he lost to Gunter Schlierkamp at the GNC show, and he was really, really off. And that was the year that he actually trained mostly at home, because he wanted to be, he wanted to concentrate and to focus, and he built a gym. And I remember seeing that gym, and it was like state-of-the-art facility in his house that cost like, I think, $150,000 or something like that. It was beautiful equipment, absolutely beautiful, phenomenal. But Ronnie actually went back to training at Metroflex in 2003 for the Olympia, because he lost 2002, the GNC show. And in 2003, that was arguably the freakiest, best Ronnie that the world has ever seen. He came in 286 pounds, 286 or 287. And the moment I remember, because I was in the audience, the moment he stepped on stage everybody went like, what the fuck is that? The show was absolutely over. There was even no arguments about it. It's still, to this day, nobody attained that, and I don't even know if anyone will. And I remember him actually saying in an interview, he just went back to basics. He went back to Metroflex, and he trained, exactly the same way that what got him the first Mr. Olympia in the first place. And, and the same here. I think that whenever we have to challenge ourselves and be in that environment, it pushes us to the next level. And I remember coming to Thailand and training with no AC outside in 100 degrees. And, I remember the first session, I was crying, legitimately crying. I was like, I'm too old for this. I'm not cut out for this. This is too bad. This is embarrassing. And I remember my brother-in-law was with me, and it was, I couldn't help myself. Like after 15, 20 minutes, I was ready to give up. And I needed actually, to take kind of together my thoughts. It was my first trip. And then I overcame that fear and that insecurity. And I think it just made me better because it was a challenge. But seeing all those people around me slipping on each other's sweat and, and using each other's soaking with sweat gloves and just being shirtless and just like training so hard, it motivates you, it pushes you. So I think home gym is very convenient, and I think it's great. And especially, whether it's a bad weather or you cannot make it to the gym, I think it's absolutely great to have. It's a luxury in a way, but nothing beats that real gym, experience. And I remember sending Shane a video that was done for Apollon Gym. And I remember, he sent me something like, oh my God, I want to train there. Something like that. And it just like, because visually you see that those chains and kettlebells and stuff like that. And you remember, Robert, when you came there, like the first kind of thing that you want to do, you want to get onto that gym floor and you want to train.
Yep. Oh yeah. That's what going back to Thailand, Robbie. You found the eye of the tiger. Exactly what that reminded me of that. I can't train where I sleep. Lukasz, what about you? Commercial versus home gym?
No, to be honest, I'm a big fan of the real commercial gym. So in my town, when I was, to be honest, raised and where I still right now live, we don't have that much gyms, and we also don't have that much like the chain gyms. So there's basically like few gyms, and one of the gyms that I train is owned by my good friend. So even due to the entire fucking lockdown and the COVID situation, the gym was still open for the old members, And I was the basically the first person that purchased the membership, and was the first one that was training there since day one, So so I was able to train, and still am able to do all my workouts and everything. But as far as like Robic said it perfectly. The environment, feeds you basically, and it gives you this extra push. Even if you're like type of a person that just like goes to the gyms, put your headphones on it, and just like say screw the world, fuck all the people, and just like bash all the other members. It's still, it's still something that keeps you going. And if I would have a gym, and I have a gym in my home, I don't have any weights or anything like that. I just stick to cardio machines. So basically, I have a rower, assault bike, and a stepper, and that's basically it. So I do my cardio here at home because it's convenient for me. And as far as like workouts and weight sessions, I go by my bike to to a gym. Yeah.
Shane, what about you?
I totally agree with this comment about the my dislike of people, but I do love the atmosphere of and the environment of a gym. Not a commercial gym like your Planet Fitness and the shit like that. Like
No.
like the beast like Apollons. Like the one of the gym I go to is
It's a lifter's gym. It's not like a casual fitness gym.
Like when I go, there's like 3 people there. But if I go there on like a Sunday or Christmas Eve, it's that same damn 3 people, right?
Yeah.
It's a dedicated bunch, and I mean, the variety of equipment, the variety, you can never easily replicate that at home, like the machine stuff there. But in saying that, I did just set up a home gym, rack, pads, bar, weights, just because when we had a lockdown like 3, 4 weeks ago, my training was going really good, and I was like, fuck, and now I got no gym for 7 days. And so it kind of it happened twice, and it kind of ate away at me. And then I was like, "Fuck it, let's just get it." And then this way, so my back and my leg days are mostly barbell stuff, bent row, T-bar, deadlift, single arms, and so I've pretty much got enough equipment to do all the main stuff for chest, back, and legs. And my issue was just getting the weights. So I think I was messaging Ropic about it. I finally managed to get enough because it's hard to replicate the. I mean, I didn't want to get a gym with just one plate. I needed to have like 6, just so I could really push it on a deadlift or something like that. And it's I think it's good to have, especially in nowadays. If something does happen and your training goes to shit, and you're not like Lukasz and have that alternative, or like Robic, and I was like, I need to have this just in case, and so I invested in enough to push myself and fuck myself up.
Yeah.
It's just a bar and some weights, but you can do a lot with that, and a bench.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got into. I guess I'm probably different. That like y'all probably started training in a gym, and then like you've maybe built out a home gym from that. I'm the opposite. I started training at home, so I've always been partial to the home gym setup. So. Yeah, I just that's just kind of the way.
You started training at home?
Yeah.
What, during lockdown, or you've been training for a while?
No. Like going back to like 2010 when I first started doing like getting into like resistance training and fitness and everything. So we just started.
Why did you start at home?
That was just I had growing up I didn't know anything about training at a gym or anything like that. It was taekwondo I did from when I was 9 till basically 21 when I got out of college when the school closed. And we never did. It was all calisthenics, bodyweight stuff like that. So then my first actual resistance training exposure was doing P90X, and that has you build out the home like you're doing home stuff. So push-ups, pull-ups, squats, lunges with dumbbells, and everything like that. And so that was kind of like my starting point. And then we did that program a couple times, and then I just started getting into figuring out what the hell actual resistance training is and doing all that stuff. So that's when I started adding an incline bench, getting out heavier dumbbells. So I've got power blocks that go from 5 pounds up to 90 pounds. I've got a trap bar here now, plates, dip bar, suspension trainer, a power rack, an incline bench, 2 45-pound kettlebells, 2 55-pound kettlebells, medicine balls, a few other things. I mean, I didn't buy all that stuff now. I've been slowly adding to this, since 2010. And I've got more than enough weight to do enough damage to myself. But I've always liked the home gym stuff because I can do whatever I want to. I don't have to listen to the shitty gym music. I've trained in a commercial gym a bunch of times, or like a hardcore lifters kind of gym, and I've really enjoyed it. I've always been I like doing my own thing by myself kind of thing. I think that's what it is.
Robert, can I ask you, were you scared about going to the gym?
Probably I was insecure about it probably when I first started, yeah. Because I know that's I didn't feel like I knew what I was doing, but that was the good thing is that I was training just by myself in my home. So by the time I kind of worked my way through that to where the first time I stepped into a gym, I felt a little uncomfortable because you always have that feeling like people are always staring at you when you realize that's your own insecurities. Nobody really gives a shit what you're doing unless you're doing something asinine, like you're doing like a barbell squat and a bosu ball or some bullshit like that. But no, like these days, I have zero concerns about feeling awkward or out of place or anything like that.
Because like many, back in the days when I was a PT, and I had the new clients, and for example, like people were coming to the gym for the first time, and they were like, they didn't know shit about any machines or anything like that. But the first thing that came to their mind was they were like super insecure, and they were like, oh, these people are looking at me all the time. I'm like, chill. Nobody gives a fuck what you are doing, basically. Just chill out and do your thing. If you want to just like go to the step machine or something like this and do the let's say 20 minutes of just a stepper for your first session, that's okay,
Yeah.
But the first time is the hardest one, and after that,
Yeah,
it's just
especially
easy.
I think when it comes to like those smaller gyms like Apollon where you have a certain reputation, I
Yeah.
think that people get a little bit intimidated. Like
yeah,
I hear a lot where somebody will come to me and say like I told my buddy to come to Apollon, but he said I'm not big enough. That gym is for monsters. So I think like you get that misconception.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like everybody's staring at me, like I don't look like that guy. But the truth is, I noticed that when it comes to commercial gyms, actually those are the places where you are more likely to get
Yeah.
to be judged. You
yeah,
know, and not only about like how big your arms are. I think it's like what you wear.
yeah,
Like certain like bullshit things that are really don't matter. But I noticed at Apollon, and I noticed at other hardcore gyms, more privately owned gyms that are smaller. Nobody gives a fuck. Like really,
yeah,
nobody gives a fuck. You can do whatever you want. And I want to emphasize what I said earlier is like I don't necessarily have to be a power lifter because we have quite a few at Apollon to not be motivated but by what they do. I can't even attempt to do some of the things that they do. And I can do I think for years I've been doing just dips, body weight, and pull-ups and jump rope. That was my workout. That's it. So I wouldn't even touch any of the equipment for years. But I think just being around people that train hard regardless of what they're doing, I think that definitely pushes me. And at home, I think like what Shane said about we kind of live in a world where it's almost a necessity if you are training to have some kind of a setup at home. I think it's very important because something is better than nothing. And if you're motivated, if that's your routine, you can still train, you can still achieve results. I'm not saying that it's impossible. It's definitely possible. All I'm saying is that the environment, and perfect example. We were in California, and the Gold's Gym that used to be 20 years ago, which used to be the real Mecca. That's when you walk into the gym and it was like, whoa, all these bodybuilding superstars and all these guys with torn T-shirts slapping each other and stuff like that. That was all real. As stupid as it looked, it was real, and they were really competing who's going to lift heavier, and you were motivated by that.
Yeah.
And I remember we were in California 2 or 3 years ago, and I told you the story. You walk into Gold's these days, and it's $50 or $60 per day. And you walk in, and the equipment is all shiny and beautiful and modern. None of those, at least not a lot of those old school machines. And people, you see a lot of celebrities and models, and people in wearing clothes that are more expensive than my car. And it just the environment is not the same. And I remember Carolina saying like she actually refused to train there. She flat out refused to train there. She was pissed that I spent money, on a daily pass, and she was basically just waiting for me to be done. And even I didn't have the best workout. It just the environment wasn't the same. And she says like you walk into a pond and just the walls and how you're surrounded by that environment makes you want to lift, makes you want to train.
Yeah.
And the same, I think the next day we went to Freddie Roach's gym, which is a boxing gym in West Hollywood, and that gym is like the size of half of a palm. It's tiny. It's very very small with a ring in the middle. You don't even have a lot of room to train, and they give you gloves that somebody just used. So it's like sweaty gloves, disgusting. And you walk in, and all you can smell is people's sweat because there is no AC. Just the door is open, but you want to train.
Yeah.
You literally want to train. You just want to fucking go in and you want to destroy the workout. And even in this day and age, the daily pass is $5, which is absolutely unheard of. But I think the environment is definitely what pushes you to kind of push yourself. It definitely helps. And like Shane said, like Planet Fitness, it's actually funny when we bought Apollon Gym, we were struggling in the beginning, and I think a year later, Planet Fitness opened maybe a mile away. and I didn't know anything about it. Like I was clueless as to what it is. But I got worried when I saw advertising $10 a month. There was no way we can bring the price to $10 a month. That was just not possible. I legitimately got scared. I was like, oh, holy shit, we're fucked. So we got in a car when they opened and we drove to Planet Fitness. And I remember, okay, let's check it out. And I literally walked in the door and I just looked around. I was like, nah, we good. Because it's just not the same. It's I don't even know what to call it. I mean, and it's not that I'm against it because obviously they're doing well. It's just not. I'd rather train at home than train there.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lucas.
No, I just want to say Violet Firms with the pizza, right?
Yeah. I think they have pizza or donut or some kind of like thing.
Yeah.
No, the Krispy Kremes have the promotion right now. They give away donuts.
Yeah, the free donut.
If you show them that you are vaccinated.
I don't know which one because this was years ago, but there was I don't call them gyms. I call them fitness centers for some reason, even though I think that's a compliment. But one of those gyms, fitness centers, was offering pillows for when you do bench press.
That's actually quite nice. I like that.
So my issue with a lot of the gyms are.
Do you get to keep the pillow though?
I don't know.
Well,
Because if it's just for the gym, that's just stupid. But if you actually get to keep it, that'd be great. Anyway,
one of the issues, my biggest issue, it's not that people are having to like wait for somebody to get off of the piece of equipment or something. It's the music. The fucking music at those places sucks. It's usually like the top 40 pop bullshit or something. I don't want to deal with that when I'm going there.
What do you mean you don't want to deal with that? Jesus Christ, old man, buy some headphones. Oh my God, I hate the music that you're playing here. Put some headphones on. I don't want to. What the fuck?
Okay.
I remember.
Come on.
I remember training with Shane when we were at the FIBO, 5 a.m. in the morning. So, of course, it was bad Lukasz that said to the entire team, "Okay, let's train early morning." So we went to the gym, and of course,
It's not
Shane,
early morning. That's closer to my bedtime the night before than it is when I wake up.
Shane enters the gym first thing with the headphones,
Yeah.
tunnel vision.
Loaded.
Yeah,
That's part of the experience. That's part of the atmosphere. I put it on, zone out. People told me that when I work out, they're like, you just straight there. Don't talk to anyone. Don't look at anyone. Don't feel approachable. And I was like, the fuck do I need to be approachable, bro? I'm here to do 5 exercises and get the fuck out. Simple.
The first time Lukasz and I, like one of the first times Lukasz and I talked, and we were planning to get together at FIBO, and I've known Lukasz for probably like a few weeks only, and he sends me a message. He goes, "By the way, get ready. We're gonna be training at 5 a.m." Like, the fuck is wrong with this guy?
It's his
what's
favorite
wrong
thing
with
to
him?
do.
Like, and he was insisting 5 a.m. I'm like, fuck you.
The worst part is when I went to FIBO for the first time and he didn't give me a fucking heads up. And then I get in after like a 28-hour flight, land, and I got there early. He's like, "Oh, we'll train on Wednesday." And I was like, "Sweet." So I was like, I was there on Monday and I was like, "Cool, I'll train on Wednesday. I'll have 2 rest days." And then he fucking messaged me. He was like, "Oh, by the way, it's 5 in the morning." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Fucking have anything for that?" I was like, "I need a pre-workout." He's like, "I got you covered." And I mean, no pre-workout in the world is going to get you awake enough for a 5 a.m. workout if you thought he was talking 4 in the afternoon, right? I mean,
Yeah, but still,
the challenge is he does it Thursday morning, Friday morning, Saturday morning, Sunday morning. The challenge is to do all 4. So
do the entire people. Yeah.
I've never done all 4 mornings. I think the first year I made it 2, then 1, then 3. I'm just bro. 5 a.m. is too much for me. Too much.
Lukasz, is FIBO definitely happening this year?
No.
No.
But the thing is that
Wait, do you mean it's definitely happening, or like
it's not happening?
Not.
It's not happening.
Also, it's not happening.
No, it's not happening. Yeah, because there's a massive lockdown right now in Germany. They have the third the third flow, and they said that they're like basically closing down everything. Here in Poland, we also have very huge issues right now. We've got like 35,000 cases per day. So that's a nasty number. So I don't think that's gonna happen. And also, all the countries of Benelux and France has problems. Italy also closed down. So I don't think it's gonna happen this year as well. So probably maybe next year. I don't know. But I've heard also that Arnold's not gonna happen in US. So
I thought I heard that was going to happen.
Yeah, I was listening to Fuad podcast, and he said that they got the memo that Arnold's not gonna happen. The expo, that's for sure, that's not gonna happen. Maybe the event, but the expo is not gonna happen.
If they'd move it to Florida, the free state of Florida, they could have it. Get out of the bullshit of Ohio.
Yeah, they just announced that the next UFC, not tonight, but the next UFC, I think in a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, they're going to have in Florida, and it's going to be full audience.
Good. Thank God for Florida. Thank God for Florida, keeping sanity in this godforsaken world. Fuck. All right, don't get me started. I'm going to keep this a happy place. It's my safe space. Shane, you got any good news stories for us to jump into this week?
C4 Dynasty. Lukasz mentioned it, C4 Dynasty. I remember when I had a podcast last year, maybe this year, with Greg from Celicor, and he was saying, oh yeah, sorry, there you go, my only fan who pays attention. He said that they were basically turning the Dynasty into a drink, and it was going to be just as loaded as the original powder. But they put together a pretty solid formula. I was quite impressed with the as far as beverages go.
Yeah,
I mean, even as a pre-workout, if this was a formula and a powder, I mean, that's a respectable formula right there, especially for a mainstream brand. But this is in beverage form, so because the original Dynasty had creatine, all of that was out. I thought they had a couple other things in there as well, but there weren't that many things removed. In fact, they did have citrulline malate in the powder, and then for this they switched to pure citrulline. But the citrulline malate dose was not like you actually see. It looks like you get more citrulline in this.
It was like 8 grams or something, right? I think.
Yeah, it was in citrulline malate for the powder.
Yeah.
So this, I would argue, is possibly better. But
yeah, you're getting 6.5. Like, is the label showing up on the screen? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
6.5 grams of L-citrulline, 1.5 grams of citrulline nitrate. I see the 6.4 of beta alanine. That's definitely overkill, in my opinion. Like you're not going to be able to absorb all of that at one time. Is the thing. And none of the studies gave somebody a bolus dose like that. They usually break it up into like 1.6 grams.
They had that in the original, so I guess that was kind of like.
Probably why.
I guess it's one of the key highlights of the thing.
Yeah, and it's gonna. I mean, it's gonna make people think it's hitting harder because it's gonna light their face on fire.
But as far as beverages go, this is the most loaded pre-workout drink I know of. I think the previous biggest I knew of was maybe 13 grams of actives. Might have been Rise, in and around there. I mean, you can't really measure actives as the key to effectiveness, but like I said, this is I mean, if I was waking up at 5 a.m. and I had nothing in my suitcase, I would be grabbing one of these bitches out of the fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really good things in here. The high dose of citrulline is awesome. The 350 caffeine is solid. I like the Elevate ATP in there. The alpha size is, I mean, you're only getting 50 milligrams of actual alpha GPC there.
Is there something with like flavoring in beverages or something? Because they had that at a bigger dose in the powder.
It might just be cost. I mean, they're using with the alpha size. That's not cheap.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the cost. I mean, based on To be honest with you, I mean, obviously the panel is the best there is. There is no doubt about it. But if you like literally nitpick on this, I mean, it's citrulline, and I agree with Robert. Beta-alanine is wow overkill. The taurine is good, and then you have caffeine and 11 ATP. So you basically have three ingredients that are like really solid dosed. The rest is not so much, but it's probably because of the cost. But nevertheless, this is obviously the most loaded, energy drink on the market
Yeah.
without
Yeah,
a doubt. So,
And
there's
I
no
like
argument about it.
I like how they went aggressive with the alpha yohimbine in there too. I don't think many, if
Yeah,
any,
that-
RTDs actually keep that in there.
Mm-hmm.
That was another one I thought was odd, but yeah, I like it. I like it. I didn't know what it was going to look like when they said they were going to put together a beverage version, but damn, that's
Yeah, I
pretty
mean,
good.
I'm actually like even willing to ignore some of the so-called underdosed trademarked ingredients, but it's pretty solid. Actually, more like upset with a beta-alanine being so high. I wish that would be like at least half.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, nobody can argue with this as an energy drink.
Yeah. Shane,
Of
have you
the-
seen
yeah.
the panel for the apeshit RTD from Primeval?
No, didn't even know they were going to do one.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean they've teased it. They just I've seen the panel. I didn't know if they had shared it with you yet.
No.
I'll have to. I'll send it your way and get your thoughts on it and see what you think.
But is it
See-
a small shot or is it a drink? Regular drink?
It's gonna be a 16-ounce drink.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I like the thing with pre-workout drinks though is it's kind of like when you look at a protein bar and like what if you can't really comment and be like, the protein bar is not as lean as chicken breast. I mean, it's kind of
Yeah.
like pre-workout drinks. You be like, oh, this is a little bit light, but to squeeze all that in a drink and make it cost, I think it's $50 for 12. So what's that? That's like $4 something, just over $4, which is pretty good, considering. And that Cellucor's made it taste good as well. So I think that's a pretty solid effort. I doubt you'll see many others putting that much in there. Although the apeshit one sounds like you might be up there. But
Oh, I'll show you the picture of it. Let me see if I can find the picture of it, and I'll show it to you. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Can we all that Shane literally posted today?
What's this?
You know which one? Review Bros.
Oh yes,
That's a good one.
yes, yep. That one was. I don't know. I like the look of it for the stimulant side, but I actually kind of like the regular one. It's kind of like my position on Hooligan versus Assassin. I like Hooligan because it's a little more well-rounded. Assassin's more high energy, high focus. The Rect to Rect Extreme seems very, very similar in that aspect. Like Rect seemed like a very comprehensive. It had like 5-6 things in there for performance and pumps, whereas the Review Bro one has, I think it's like
There you go.
it's really only 2 ingredients outside of energy and focus. It looks nice.
And that's what's going to be on the bottle right there. It says it's got 6 grams of L-citrulline, 3,200 of beta-alanine.
30 milligrams of teocrine.
Yeah.
I gotta say they nailed it as far as the graphics on the tops and these bottles. They look
Yeah.
insane.
Have you tasted it?
I have not tasted it yet, no. I've seen the rest of the formula, so that's 3 of the ingredients. There's a few other ones in there, including caffeine, obviously. But I have not tasted it yet. I was just talking to the guys over there, and I said, get me some soon. Get me some soon. So,
I mean, teocrine in the beverage would be interesting. I don't know if I've had a drink. Did Atlas put it in theirs?
it was in the Hyde Power Potion RTDs.
The high energy drink.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know if that's a good example because I mean, I didn't mind it that much, but
Yeah.
I know a lot of people did not like that at all.
No, we tried them. I didn't like them. I think Sandy may have liked 1 or 2 of the flavors. I mean,
But
Primeval
I
usually
don't-
does a really good job on flavoring, so we'll see.
I don't know if that high altitude, the energy drink was the entirely to blame for tearing or anything like that, because tearing sometimes has quite a distinctive taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That high energy drink, I just felt missed a bit on each flavor. Like it was sort of, each one had a kind of different weirdness to it. I mean,
Yeah.
I enjoyed them, but
Rod X, is Hypermax a solid daily driver? It
Depends.
absolutely is a solid pre-workout.
It's
Wait,
a
what's
great
the-
pre-workout, I think.
does he mean like for daily energy, or is he meaning for like?
Like a daily
No.
pre-workout, like an
Yeah,
average that
pre-workout.
it's not too strong and not too
You
weak.
can basically take every day.
I wouldn't recommend
Fuck
taking it every
yeah.
day. I mean, because then you start to lose some of the pop of the urea alkaloids.
Yeah, I think depends on the person. I mean, all of them are like so individually based. It's, some people will swear by C4 because I've heard people absolutely loving it. But, I think it depends on an individual. Like, I always hesitate to answer questions such as, what's the best daily pre-workout or best daily driver? For somebody it might be C4, for somebody it might be Hooligan. I mean, you never know. And, or the one that is, the one that one question that I can't stand is like, which pre-workout is better, Hooligan or Assassin? I'm like, come on, for me it's Kumite, so go figure. I mean, everybody's different. Everybody's different. It's very hard to recommend.
Agreed. Hypermax is incredible. Yes.
No, it's a
Favorite
great
pre-workout? It's in my top 5. I mean, Shane had it as his number 1, and then it got dethroned by.
Yeah. Although Devastator of the Union, I would say, I think it's more intense and just slightly edgier in most areas. But I find that I need to have Devastator of the Union maybe every 2-3 days. Otherwise, it kind of gets the edginess that it has over Hypermax. Kind of build a tolerance to.
Yeah.
Whereas Hypermax, like I found I could probably have that every 1 to 2 days, and it didn't really. You build a tolerance, but I mean, it wasn't as drastic as Devastator of the Union. So
Yeah.
And I think
I mean,
that's the main point. Like everybody is so different. Like for me, Hypermax, I would still put it above Devastator of the Union, not by much, but I would definitely put it a little bit higher. But again, it's a personal thing. Yeah, it's.
I mean, you could flip a coin. I wouldn't
can
argue
flip-
either
yeah.
way.
Yeah, it's very hard to say because I actually know somebody. After I said that I really like Hypermax, so I don't remember who it was, but I remember like after the podcast, he got in touch with me and he goes, "Hypermax is garbage. I don't even like it." I'm like, I'm not going to argue. Like I said, I'm not going to argue because just like, on overtime, everybody says how great it is. And, you can go anywhere from 1 to 6 pills, depends on a person. And then I had somebody saying, well, I had 6. I didn't feel it that much. So go figure. It's just so hard to say.
No. See, my issue with those things though is you can say everyone's different to some extent. Like if someone
Oh
says
no,
to you,
there is definitely a problem.
like
because
if someone says, "Hey, I had 6 caps of overtime. I didn't feel much." I'll
no,
be
there
like,
is a problem,
I'm
and that
not-
was my
I'm not
actually
gonna-
reaction. I said if I was you, I would actually see a doctor. That's my thing.
because that person's probably gonna say the same thing to 2 scoops of assassin, right?
Oh yeah,
I didn't feel much.
100%.
It's taken out of context, whereas I'd be like, okay, what do you feel? Because
Yeah.
crack's probably right up there with what it needs to get going. But
No,
it's
I agree with you 100%. That's why, like when I hear those comments and stuff, I don't pay attention to them because it makes no sense. If you don't feel
Yeah.
like forget about assassin and those like more extreme pre-workouts. In my opinion, if you don't feel Hypermax, there is a problem with you. Because I mean,
if you said
it's a strong pre-workout. It's not weak. It's a good strong pre-workout.
If you said to me, it would be like my top 5, it would be maybe my 2nd or 3rd best, I'd be like, cool, yeah, I can agree with that. Like, maybe be my top 10, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. But if you say to me, bro, it's shit, but no. Okay,
Yeah.
it is anything but shit. Okay, even if you even if you put it your 7th out of 10, great. Like I can understand that to some extent. But if you say it's shit, like doesn't work, no. There's something's wrong. Something's different there. Yeah, it's you can say everyone's different to some extent. But yeah, I would say if someone told me if Hypermax is shit, as much as I'd be like, you're wrong, I would probably just leave them be because they
Oh
sound
no,
like
yeah, there is
someone
no point.
who's
There is no
probably
point. Like, and
no.
I agree with you 100% on this one. If you put Hypermax in the top three, I'm cool with it. If you put it in top five, I'm cool with it. Even if you put it in top 10, I'm okay with it. But if you're saying it's not a top 10 pre-workout, something is fucked up with you. Yeah. It's just like, go seek medical help because that's absolute bullshit. It's not, I don't even, the such words as daily driver or stim junkie pre-workout. I don't like those terms. I honestly don't like them. I don't see the point in them because Hypermax, it's almost like saying, oh, it's a daily driver. It's almost like calling it, it's kind of on a weaker side. You can take
It's like an energy drink or something.
Yeah,
almost.
like an energy drink. Hypermax is a legit pre-workout. It's fully dosed. It's a great pre-workout. What is this daily drive? There are certain pre-workouts that are extremely strong that you probably shouldn't be taking on a daily basis. But to call it a daily driver, it's almost like saying, because I've seen in the same context, I saw Hypermax as a daily driver and C4, I mean, the original, the weaker one, as a daily driver. But then again, I mean, you can't compare C4 and Hypermax. It's just like, no, Hypermax is not a weak or beginners or whatever pre-workout. It's a solid formula. Don't classify it as a daily driver or anything like that. It's a solid pre-workout. Do you use it every day or use it every other day? It doesn't really matter, but it's solid. And the same thing is like, oh, it's a stim junkie pre-workout. Are we talking about athletic performance or, like Shane said, well-rounded pre-workout that gives you pump, gives you endurance, gives you energy, gives you focus and all that? Because we're talking about pre-workout and the key word is workout. That's what we're using it for. If you're saying pre-workout for stim junkies, well, that's almost like saying it's a substance for crackheads, but just semi-legal, so I mean, it's a different industry, so to speak. It just makes absolutely no sense.
I think we need to call Aaron at Performax and quote Robert and put this on your tub. If this isn't your top 10 pre-workout, fuck you.
I'd fucking sign my name on it.
Put it on the front. In fact, put it on a sticker on the lid. But if this ain't one of the best pre-workouts you've had, you need to go see a fucking doctor. There's something wrong with you.
Yeah, I don't know. I would seriously question that individual. That strange.
But then if it was, if they said it was shit, I'd ask questions. If they said they didn't feel it, I would be like, okay, there's something wrong here. But if they said it was shit, and then they'd be like, nah, it was too powerful. But okay, that's more like it. You just didn't like it was too intense. But if you said you didn't feel it, that's where I'd be, okay, nah, dude, there's something fishy there because that shit's hard. But yeah.
Agreed. Listeners tuning in, this will be the final call for questions. So if you guys got anything else, feel free to fire away. Otherwise, we're going to be pulling the parachute soon on this.
Are we going to discuss the thing that we talked about in our messages? Because I'm all for it.
Which one?
Well, we talk about so many things on there.
Well, the one that we talked about certain companies and certain spiking and certain.
Yeah, article. I had a feeling he was referred to Daily Driver as maybe just. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
I wouldn't say Hypermax is an everyday pre-workout. I mean, that's it's a high stim thing. You use that on days when like you slept like shit or you really want to like set some PRs in the gym.
That's the problem with the review channels. That's why they name,
one of the many problems. There are scores of problems with review channels.
Categorize and they name the products by stim junkies, daily drivers, and so on and so on. And it's like, so people then like
so daily driver is like a daily driver is meant to be like a
daily pre-workout.
Like a mainstream pre-workout.
Yeah,
Well, not
something
necessarily,
like
because some people, like you see, they can call a daily driver anything ranging from C4 to fucking assassin. I mean, it depends on a person, but the thing is a daily driver, I think, still implies mostly to a weaker pre-workout that is not as powerful, not as strong, that you can take on
Okay.
a daily basis.
I hadn't heard of it before.
Mm. So about Mr. Cohen.
yeah.
Oh,
Yes. Okay. All right. So for all the listeners that may not have been aware of this, and most people, I mean, it hasn't really hit the news wire or anything like that. This is something that was sent my way.
Time to steer the pot.
Yes. So there's a new study. So for the people that don't know, Dr. Peter Cohen is a professor at Harvard University and has kind of this thorn in his paw that he every couple of years or so has
it is quite consistent, isn't it? He comes up every 2 years, 3 years, just
Yeah.
out of the blue.
Yeah. He's done previous studies testing label claims on products. And basically, before he tested DMHA and a bunch of supplements, found that the products that were claiming DMHA either didn't have it in there and it was replaced with some other kind of stimulant. The same thing with hygenamine. So he did a study on hygenamine. And I've covered that one before on the Advanced Molecular Labs website. So if you look up hygenamine and advancedmolecularlabs.com, I've done a breakdown of that full study on there. Basically, what they was found is that people were listing hygenamine on the label, and they either didn't have it in there, or they had something like a third of what was in there, or 3 times as much that was in there. So let me see if I can actually find that right now. So the newest study, it's titled 9 Prohibited Stimulants Found in Here. I'll just share the screen. We'll save everybody some trouble. Share screen. Okay, here we go. 9 prohibited stimulants found in sports and weight loss supplements: deuteranol, phenpromethane, oxylofrine, octadrene, beta-methylphenethylamine, 1,3-DMAA. Say it again?
Awesome names.
Yes. 1,4-dimethylamine, 1,3-dimethylbutylamine, and hygenamine. So these are 9 prohibited stimulants, which means they're not classified as dietary supplements. And so he grabbed a bunch of supplements, and there they found, he said deuteranol is the other name for isopropylnorsynephrine for the people out there that are listening to this on the live stream. So let me go down and pull up the results table. Okay, so here's what we got here. All right, how's that looking? Okay, so this guy has gone through and tested his stuff. Say it again, Shane.
I think I need that sound effect again. There we go.
There we go.
That's better.
All right, so here is a list of the things. All right, so these companies are the products that he tested. So we've got Muscle Sport, ALR Industries, High Tech, Chaos and Pain, Gen 1 Labs, Steel Supplements, Sci Labs Nutrition, Six Rings, EPG, Psychopharma, Coolify, whatever that is.
Some of these I just never heard. I'd heard
I
of
never
ALR.
heard of, yeah.
ALR is a brand that used to be very popular, and then High Tech took them over.
Yep.
Is that the one that does that?
Humor Pro.
Humor Pro,
Humor Pro.
Yeah.
So
basically, what these companies are listing isopropylnorsynephrine or some other variant, some other name descriptor on there. They tested for it, and this is what they actually found that was in the product. So instead of isopropylnorsynephrine that was there, they found hygenamine in the supplement. Instead of isopropylnorsynephrine, they found that it had isopropylnorsynephrine as well as oxylofrine, which was not disclosed on the label. These 3 products right here call out isopropylnorsynephrine on the label, and that's what they found in there. This one, isopropylnorsynephrine from Shredded AF, lists isopropylnorsynephrine that they're testing for. They found it in there, and phenpromethane, which is another banned supplement that is not approved for dietary use. Let me pull up that ingredient panel just so everybody can understand what's going on. All right. Okay, here's the ingredient panel for Shredded AF. All right, so they've got isopropylnorsynephrine listed on there at 25 milligrams.
Mm-hmm.
here's how much they actually found of it. They only found 15 milligrams of actual isoproylnorsynephrine in the product when it's claiming to have 25 milligrams in there. Plus, they also found this other banned stimulant, which we have basically no human safety data on whatsoever. And they found 1.3 milligrams of that.
It's for 2 capsules.
Yeah.
And they don't. Okay.
Yeah, stimulants in milligrams per serving.
Go back to the steel one.
Yeah.
So it's got theophylline. I love that stimulant. It's not approved for dietary supplements, but it feels great.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering. I was wondering if there's something
Open up
else.
for lunch, right?
Maybe there's something else that's missing that's not in there, and they've actually put that other stimulant in there in its place.
Maybe, but I mean, this is something to raise consumer awareness. That
Yeah.
these kind of things that give the industry a bad name.
Yeah, but see, this one here, the Chaos and Pain one, it's not bad. I mean, they found it.
Yeah, so yeah, Chaos and Pain, wherever they're getting manufactured. I've used their Cannibal Ferox pre-workout before, and it feels phenomenal. Like, it's got theophylline in there, and I love the way it feels. I've never done a full scoop, but thank God TJ told me to just start with a half scoop. Let's check that out, all right?
I tried both, the Riot and the Ferox. All those. Good stuff.
Okay. All right, so caffeine anhydrous.
Feelings exactly the same.
Isopropylnorsynephrine is not listed in there. Are they using a different version is what I'm wondering.
You see, that's what I was wondering about.
Because he also doesn't list how he got these products. He's not saying which version of them are there.
Because wasn't there one on there that...
Maybe there were 2 versions of the Ferox.
I remember it having ISO in there.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to check out the EU version. But I can't find a supplement facts panel for it.
Let me check on my end.
Yeah, I'm gonna check this Coalition Nutrition one. Yeah, here's a previous version of it, an older. So obviously, I mean, this guy may not be testing the most up-to-date stimulants, so maybe he's just going into a supplement shop and pulling whatever's off the shelf. But see, here, this one's got.
I had 2017 version of Cannibal Ferox Reloaded. That one had ISO.
Yeah, the 365 grams version of Ferox has the isoproylnorsynephrine, 35 milligrams.
35 milligrams right there. What did they find in there, actually? They found 10 milligrams, but then we don't know which version they're testing on. So there's inconsistencies between what we're finding in this guy's study and what the most recent labels are on these products. So some of this guy's data that he's reporting are out of, maybe out of what's the word I'm looking for? Out of date.
Yeah, but if you think about it, one version doesn't have it at all, and one version does it. So either one version has something that it's not supposed to have, or the version that it was supposed to have is underdosed. So either way, it's bad.
Right.
No, but I think Robert's saying that if he has the 2017 version, it's 4 years old.
But it's still underdosed.
Could it not be expired?
Yeah, it probably would be expired.
But still, the ingredients do not disappear.
Yeah,
they should be still there. If the label says that it's like 35 milligrams, that should be 35 milligrams in there. It's not like
it wouldn't go from 35 to 15.
It doesn't dissipate.
Is there some sort of drop off, Robert?
Yes, there is,
but not from 35 to 15.
No.
Not from 35 to 15. No, but there is some sort of drop off, isn't there?
Yeah,
someone telling me about this.
Well, yeah, a part of it depends a little bit on the storage conditions, the temperature, what other ingredients are complexed in there. Where certain ingredients can cause other ones to break down a little bit faster, or storage conditions, humidity, temperature, all of that stuff, as well as the way it was manufactured. But that's one issue. But I don't think you would have a rate of it wouldn't drop down to a third of what it should have been in just 4 years.
But let's be honest for what it is. Number one, I don't know what this guy's agenda, and if you're saying that he's popping every 2-3 years, he's probably under quarantine, so that's the reason he had nothing else to do. Uh,
Well, I mean, like, look at the thermoshock one. This is another one that's kind of got an issue. Like, they're listing isopropylnorsynephrine, but they're finding DMAA, DMHA, and amp citrate in there. And you look at the thermoshock label, and it's got none of those ingredients on there whatsoever.
You see, maybe he has. Well, there was what's the Avengers one? I think it was the what was near the bottom.
Deep 6 Pro Avenger Performance Nutrition.
Yeah, and the 10 seconds to launch. I remember looking at that label, and they had the Octadrene and amp on the label, but it didn't have ISO.
Yeah, so that's a sign of the manufacturers not testing the raws they're getting in from China. That's another big issue with this, is that either the companies are unaware of it, which is going on, they're not independently testing the manufacturer, or the manufacturer is not testing the raws right there. There's multiple problems with this.
but
This is just something to be
let's
aware
be
the
honest.
consumers of.
This is obvious cheating, and it doesn't really matter who it comes from. I mean, everything is pointing out in the direction of one manufacturer, and that's also pretty obvious. I don't know if it's like a personal agenda by Dr. Cohen or not. I know that at least some of these companies are manufactured by the same manufacturer, and like I said, I mean, we all know the history, so who would be surprised? Nobody really. But it's more than anything, without even throwing accusations or anything like that, this reflects very, very, very poorly, not only on the companies, but in industry as a whole, because this is a pure proof that, the consumer is being lied to, misled, and, and ripped off, so to speak. Not only that, this is potentially dangerous.
Yeah, it's harmful for sure.
It's very harmful. It's very potentially dangerous. And, like I said, I don't know Dr. Khan. I don't know his agenda. I don't know anything. But the truth is even if Chaos and Pain, whether it's a new version or the old version, either way you spin it, this does not look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for any of the brands, it just doesn't look good for the industry.
It's
As much
terrible
as-
for the industry. It's terrible for the industry, and it's terrible for the consumer. And this just goes to show that, there are serious issues. And don't forget, these are, 10, 15 companies that he names? That list can be 10 times longer, especially with the number of brands that you have today. And, people are manufacturing God knows where. Because
Didn't he say he tested like a lot more than the ones he showed the results of, though?
Not for this one, no. He tested 8 products.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He tested
Go to the top.
most cases.
Found 9 prohibited stimulants formulated in 8 different combinations.
In most cases,
somewhere at the top.
Eight brands contained more than one prohibited stimulant.
Oh, no. You go to the introduction? Yeah.
35
17
samples of 17 brands of supplements were purchased. 2 samples of 12 brands of supplements. 4 samples of 2 brands. Sold in 2 flavors each, and 1 sample of 3 brands.
Was there 17 on the list? I don't know.
No. But he listed different flavors. Shane.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah.
17.
It's not really 17 brands. Yeah, because like he said, he's got multiple versions. So it's only like 9, 8, 10 brands? How many brands?
Brands. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
As unfortunate as it is, I think there's probably a whole bunch more out there that are similar.
Easily.
100%.
And
Easily.
EPG and Psychopharma are sister companies. They're owned by the same brand. ALR is part of High Tech.
Yeah, but do you guys see the relationship here? The connection between the brands? Like 90% of these brands are produced by the same manufacturer.
Yeah.
And a few of them are produced by another company that was owned by the same manufacturer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, it might be a personal agenda, so we can accuse him of that he has something against, let's say at High Tech. Or but does it really matter? It doesn't
Well,
matter.
it does list that conflict in the clarification. It says Cohen has received research support from Consumers Union and PEW charitable trusts. Cohen was the subject of a civil suit brought by High Tech Pharmaceuticals, a supplement company, in which the jury found in favor of Dr. Cohen. So,
Well, nobody can blame him. I mean, it's a legit test, and even if he doesn't like them, and I assume he doesn't like them, it doesn't
Yeah.
take away from the fact that there is cheating, and there are serious problems. And like we all said, this is not the full list. So he tested somebody, because some of them are from High Tech and some of them are from NutraCap. But the thing is like I know NutraCap was acquired by High Tech, and I know for a fact that now they once again independent. But you can ignore the connection. But being devil's advocate, there are other manufacturers who are doing the same thing, and other brands who are doing the same thing. And like I said in our private messages, I was offered one ingredient, and I was actually offered, to, at least I was told, thank God. It could have been that the manufacturer could have lied to me too. But I was told that, listen, we're not going to use the branded, we're going to use the generic, but we're going to say that it's branded. So, I mean, I know like there is sometimes not much of a difference, but at the same time, there's a difference in cost. There's a difference in many aspects. And at the end of the day, a lie is a lie. 20 milligrams of one ingredient, when you claim that there is 40, it's a lie. Whether it's done by the manufacturer himself, because sometimes the companies don't test the product, or it's done by, or they work together, where a manufacturer and the brand agrees that, going to give you a cheaper price, but you can list this and you can list that. That's just, that's the industry as a whole.
I got a story, because see, I'm always stuck sometimes when tests come out, because sometimes a lot of the brands don't necessarily know. A lot of these guys come into the industry, they pay for the manufacturer, and then they're just like, cool. And I can understand how if you come into the industry and you go to the manufacturer, you're like, who's to know you should do more, right? The manufacturer, you go to this guy, you pay him all this money.
yeah.
You would think that he does it all. But so I always have the feeling that it's not necessarily the brand. Sometimes it is the manufacturer. They don't
100%.
Agreed.
I have a story. I'm not going to say where or when, or I'm going to try and give as few details as possible because it'll give it away. But I had a meeting with a guy, and he bought me a handful of supplements, and I was going over the formulas, and I was just like, oh, it's pretty solid, a lot of stims in here. And he's like, yeah, I don't necessarily like the pumps and performance side. We mostly put stims. And then he said, oh, we could use, and he asked me what I thought about this ingredient. And I said, yeah, but you can't use that. That's banned in your country. And he's like, oh yeah, but we just put it in there and not put it on the label. And he had this smirk on his face. And I said, I was like, and he laughed, and I laughed, and I was like, oh yeah. But in my head, I was like, the fuck is wrong with you? I was like, and it wasn't necessarily like, from then on, I didn't really touch his supplements like full scoop or anything. I was like, let's just be careful, and he had been in the industry for 10 years, and he had worked with one big brand, a huge brand, for a while. But when he said this to me, it wasn't my worry of like his brand, just the way he said it so commonly, and because he'd been in the industry for a while, he made it sound so normal, as if he had this conversation with many other people and many other brands. And it was just that way when he said it, I was just like, God damn it. Like, someone you wouldn't think would do it, does it, so just says it he as if he'd done it before. And that always worries me, especially with the smaller brands. I mean, he was doing it just because, he wanted the benefits. Someone who wanted it for the money would be much more likely to do it. And I was just like, it's that kind of shit that kind of pushes you away. It makes you a little bit worried sometimes.
Yeah, and it's like, that's not the majority of the way companies are doing it, but it's those kind of like the shitty, sketchy little stuff is what ends up getting publicized and like focused on the industry, and what gives the industry a bad eye. Even though, the vast majority of companies might be doing the good thing, it's those little fuck ups like that keep a black eye on the supplement industry and why there's such a stigma around it sometimes.
And that's what pisses me off, because then after that, you get all these different regulations, and then you see this mismatch between US and Europe.
Yep.
You've got so much shit going on, and to be honest, I don't want to stir the pot a lot, because if I would say details from my end, I would get in a lot of trouble.
I got
So
plenty of stories.
I got plenty of stories to tell you guys, but that will be like offline, But
I think we all have some. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, but I just want to say one thing, that the that the end customer should be more aware of where he puts his money on, and
I think
if
the rule of thumb is the big brands. I say the big brands, as much as they are the ones that end up charging more, and sometimes they get a bit far away from the formulas. I say the bigger they are, the more they have to lose.
Yeah,
So
that's the one thing. But on the other hand, let's say, and I would say it, straight away, Apollon is not a huge brand. But if you go by the history, and and you research the brand, and you see how the brand acting, what they are up to, and what's their work ethic, and so on, then you can trust the brand, and you say, okay, let's give it a shot, let's try their products. So I think that you had to treat everyone equal way, but at the same time, you need to keep your eyes peeled, because you can get fucked, on the every basic angle, So
Agreed.
that's my thing.
I say mid-sized brands as well are relatively trusting, like Apollon, Morphogen, Core is probably more of a larger size brand now. Man Sports, Inspired, like those guys, they're more worried about doing something dodgy and getting caught, because the amount of money that they're going to have to be sued for would be astronomical. Whereas the smaller guys, those are the ones that I would worry more about, because they're trying to get and there's just this opportunity. Like I said, when a brand who puts in all these ingredients that aren't necessarily allowed for dietary supplements, you should probably be a bit mindful. I mean, not to say don't try them if you want to get high, but it's
use at your own risk.
Again, just after talking to people and knowing what can be done and what can't be done, I like the mid-sized, the large brands. The guys who have a good amount to lose are likely to be the ones you can trust. Whereas the smaller ones trying to make a name, I don't know. There are a lot of small brands. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of small brands that are great guys and make great supplements, but it's just, when you walk down an alley at night, just be mindful, kind of thing.
Caveat to
But you know what? I mean, there are a few examples. Like, number one, there is a very large company that released a protein going back, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, and they released it was supposed to be a combination of isolate and concentrate, and they were promoting it very, very, very heavily. That, look, we have isolate and concentrate, and they were bragging about it to a point where I actually questioned somebody, and I said, okay, I mean, what kind of concentrate do you have? It's a WPC 80. There was no answer. Okay, well, how much do you have of isolate, and how much do you have of concentrate? It's mostly isolate. Well, mostly isolate, it can be 51%. That's going to be mostly isolate. So those are the things that the marketing kind of catches, that kind of still misleading the consumer, and you still don't know, but you're charging a premium price. Maybe you do have isolate in it, and maybe it is majority, maybe it's 51%, but those 49% of concentrate, absolute crap that cost close to nothing. So basically you have only 50% of what you're claiming to have. Another thing is that Mark Glazer, when he was on, he said about the company that he manufactured for, that was, that they were manufacturing that garbage protein. I actually know the name of the company. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to say it, but that was a couple of years ago. I knew about it. I knew about it very well. I knew the name. I knew everything. And I knew that they're selling absolute crap. And when somebody asked about, well, why is Apollon protein so expensive? Well, we can get, and he named that brand, we can get that brand for half the price. And I'm like, just like I said, I couldn't say anything because number one, I just didn't, I couldn't. I mean, I'm not that, I wouldn't do that. But the bottom line is like, you literally pay what you get. I mean, that's just that's inevitable. And then even kind of to throw myself under the bus right now, we had Assassin FDN. That was the first Assassin that was manufactured, and Robert knows exactly where it was manufactured, the latest one. And that was when we jumped ship from the previous manufacturer that a lot of companies manufacture with them, a lot. And when we tested it and when people tried it, they're like, what the fuck? This Assassin hits a lot harder, and yet the label is identical. It's identical label. It was sort of, okay, well, the raw materials are obviously better, and the company, the manufacturer is solid manufacturer that I'm very happy to work with.
Yeah.
But that just goes to show, if this one is using top ingredients, fully dosed, and, premium everything, why was I paying actually a little bit less on the same formula than I was paying on a previous same formula, but by a different manufacturer that clearly was not, something was off. I mean, clearly, this one is getting tested, the ingredients are getting tested, I'm seeing the certificate of analysis, I'm seeing, everything, I know exactly what's in the product, and I'm even going to go as far as saying Robert and I had, because Robert always has my back, and he was worried about a certain ingredient. I'm not going to disclose what it is or anything like that because that's not important. But Robert was bugging the shit out of me just because he cares about a certain ingredient in one of our products because he hasn't heard about it and he was worried, what is it? And he wanted a confirmation. And upon reaching to the manufacturer, the new manufacturer, it was fully disclosed and case was closed.
Yeah,
so
we got
both
the COA and everything.
Yeah, basically, Robert was like, thank God, and he was very, very happy about it. And honestly, so was I. But that's the way it should be. That should not be. It should not be an issue to get the COA and to find out where the ingredient came from, etc., etc. And this is the situation that we have right now, and it's not going to go anywhere. I mean, those people should probably get sued, and they should be accountable because not only the fact that they clearly saving money by underdosing products, now they playing with people's health because they putting in a product something that's not supposed to be there. They spiking it, and like Shane said, this guy basically, Shane, was it face-to-face conversation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this guy doesn't even hesitate to say, like, listen, okay, we're not going to put it on a label, but we're going to spike the product. He didn't even have fucking shame. So, that's where the industry is, and it ranges, I think, from large companies all the way to the bottom. I think Shane probably knows this better than I do. I think it was South Africa. And for some reason, it pops in my head that it was South Africa going back 5, maybe 10 years ago. But I think it's a South African, some sort of a company that tested shitload of brands. And the list was like, it had like top brands on it. And this was underdose. This was amino spike. This was like, it was like, you look at them and the names that are on it, it's a multi-million-dollar brands. I mean, I can even say, because Muscle Farm was on it, Dymatize was on it, Gaspari was on it. It was shocking. You're reading it, and you're like, what the fuck? You would expect that a small company out of fucking, I don't know, like a small town or something like that, operating on $100,000 a year. But those were multi-million. BSN was, everybody was on it. It was like a fucking never-ending list. But I think
I don't think that
it wasn't.
notably
It wasn't South Africa.
Are you talking about just the spiking?
The
spiking, yeah. I think it was
Muscle Farm was in on it.
Yeah, it was
Muscle Farm was
definitely
there.
Yeah, 100% was there.
Nobody Gambia, I don't think.
I remember Dymatize was on it, on that list. There was like serious heavy hitters were on that list. And just like I said, I have to search it somewhere, and for some reason South Africa stands out that it was a test from there. But it was like years ago, anywhere between 5 to 10 years. But it was absolutely shocking.
Yeah.
It was a while ago.
Creamy's coming in on the end.
Oh. He's back, or she is back. We still don't know the gender.
Sergio. Hey, gents. Just curious, is there a major difference between the vitamin B P5P or the pyridoxine hydrochloride one? Myoblocks and a few other brands like Glaxon uses it in their pre-workouts. Basically, the difference is P5P is the more expensive and the activated form, so it doesn't have to undergo conversion. Your body can just readily use it, so it's going to have a little bit higher bioavailability, a little bit greater efficacy and activity in the body than the hydrochloride version will. So if you want to go for the preferred form of the vitamins, go for that one. So, all right, gents, we've made it 2 hours and change. Are we all watching the UFC fight tonight?
Nah, I just told you I'm gonna watch the bigger fight. King Kong versus Godzilla, motherfucker.
He's going with the Power Rangers.
The UFC will still be going on when you finish your Godzilla movie. Wait, are you taking your halfling with you, or is this just like a Shane outing?
I wish I could take her to that. I mean, I will try to take her to one of those, but I mean, she's just likes the colorful cartoon bullshit right now, and it really pisses me off.
Yes.
It needs to be
Shane,
singing.
are the movie theaters in New Zealand open to full capacity?
Oh man, I don't want to be stink, but we've been open full capacity for a while. Like, we don't have any
bullshit.
Yeah, we don't have any COVID in the community, so no one has it. The only people
Dude, the country is that tiny, so what do you expect?
Yeah, man. We got like 5 million people. The only guys that have COVID are the ones that fly in from New Zealanders from other countries. So no tourists are allowed. Nobody's allowed. If you fly out and come back, you have to quarantine for 2 weeks. It's pretty good. I mean, so long as you're happy where you are.
There we go.
So we got full capacity. Although I think last week or the week before we were at level 2 or something, and you had to have like a seat or two spaced around you, front and back. Although, to be honest, that's how I like watching the movies anyway, with few people around me. So that was kind of what I did anyway.
Outstanding. All right, gents.
Oh wait, were we going to touch on the Review Bros pre-workout?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let me pull that up then.
If you got time, of course.
Well, the only person who needs to go to sleep here is you.
I can manage.
You took your PM.
I'm on my mushrooms now, so I'm good.
There you go.
So Shane, do you want to do the intro of this?
Yeah, so Hughes Nutrition partnered with Review Bros for a pre-workout. Notably, Review Bros said that they formulated this from the ground up kind of thing, rather than take the original Rect, which is Hughes' pre-workout, and sort of twist it. They formulated it pretty much, like they said, from the ground up, chose every ingredient in a dose. So notably, it is a lot more different than the regular version. As I was saying to Lukasz, definitely has a strong focus on energy and stimulant side of things. The original Rect, I actually quite like the original Rect. I've had it. I got it here. It's a lot more. It's very balanced. It has a lot of ingredients for pumps and performance, and not as much for energy and focus as this. But I guess since this one is called Rect Extreme, and even though Review Bros formulate it from the ground up, I do think it is going to come off as a more extreme, intense spin-off of that original Rect. But yeah, definitely an interesting one. You've got DMHA in there, which I thought I hadn't seen in a brand we've shared for quite some time. And similar amount of caffeine actually as the original. They got 100 dicaffeine, and then it was like 250 regular caffeine, and then the caffeine citrate is what separates it from the original Rect. So that addition there that bumps it up to like over 4. It looks like a nice little ride, to be honest. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah.
Curious about the theanine in there.
I think that was in the original too.
There is theanine, and yeah.
The paradoxine was the one that was the one I thought was odd. Was the grains of paradise?
I agree.
I mean, it's for that thermo component. Like, I've seen a couple of other brands. I think Dragon Pharma did it in one of their pre-workouts. It's just there to make it the same thing with throwing beta alanine into a pre-workout. You're adding a sensory experience to make the product give the kind of like delude the customer into thinking the product's hitting harder than it actually does.
Yeah, but grains, I'm like, if you're gonna, because again, this is clearly focused on energy and focus, the stimulant side of things. Um, I don't know. I would have switched that for something. Even though this isn't going to be short on a hit, I
Yeah.
feel like you probably could have switched it for something else. Because like it just seems like an odd addition. Like for me, my theory has always been, hey, if you're gonna want to try and lose weight, take a fat burner or a stim-free fat. If you want to have a good workout, have a pre-workout. I like everything in this.
Mm-hmm.
It just that one's the one. That's the only one that stood out to me. Not that I'm not going to mind it, but it stands out. That's all.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree with Shane because when I saw the label, I was actually, I mean, it's a good formula, no doubt about it. I don't know, like if Review Brothers formulated it or had a say in it. I mean, it's obviously it's a
Yeah,
collaboration.
they told me they had a full say in it.
Yeah, so they had a collaboration. I mean, to me personally, my stand on theanine, I just don't like it, and especially if there is dicaffeine malate, I just don't see a point in it. But I mean, it's 100 milligram. What it does to the formula, I think nothing. But uh, grains of paradise, we know that when it comes to the dosage, 50 milligram is underdose. That's a fact, and it's still a lot of people are doing it. It's just not the real dose of the 12.5% of 6-paradol. That's actually supposed to be around 30, 40 milligram of that. So I think that this is where misconception is. And I think just a lot of people are mistaken when they're doing this dose or for other reasons. And it's like Shane said, it's a fat burner. Like I will always look at it as a thermogenic ingredient. And just like I look at theanine as a sleep formula ingredient. So those two, they could have been replaced with something else to enhance it a little bit more. I mean, those two ingredients apart, I think it's a solid pre-workout.
I think to be honest, even if you took grains of paradise out and you charged me the same amount for it without grains, I would still probably pay
Yeah,
it.
I want absolutely, definitely, no doubt about it.
I'm just nitpicking. I like the
Yeah,
Alpha Yo as well. It's a nice little addition.
yeah, no,
Um,
it's a great formula. I like the look of the label. I mean, it's great. But I think you're right. You take out the paradoxin out of it and charge the same price, no problem whatsoever.
I'm just nitpicking with the. It just seems like the odd one, but definitely a high energy, high focus thing.
Yeah, and everything is dosed properly. I mean, it's a good pre-workout, no doubt. I mean, they did a great job.
Sweet. Any idea what the price is going to be on the Shane?
Haven't said anything. I have to imagine it'll be more than the original because the original I think also had 20 full servings.
Mm-hmm.
If
So
I can recall, it's dropping on 4th April or something, so the price will be
yeah, I
but
was told April.
it's already for pre-order, right? What I've heard.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I imagined it was going to be a little more. I didn't really know.
Let me check.
Can't see anything. Okay. All right, gents. For the listeners tuning in on the live stream, thank you all for joining us. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. If you listen to us on any podcast perusing platform, give us a 5-star review. That helps us climb up in the rankings. Thank you, my friends, for joining us, and we will catch you all next time on The Final Scoop.
Hell yeah.